One of the most surprising things for people who travel internationally on airlines is that when you're in the EU, when you're in the US, when you're in other countries like that, your flights don't get cancelled nearly as often as they do here in Australia. And they don't get delayed nearly as often either. The stats are that I think 1 in 3 flights in Australia is delayed and 1 in 25 flights or so is cancelled. There is a simple reason for that, and it's a really basic one which we all understand, and that's follow the money. Overseas, there is a financial penalty to the airline if they cancel your flight or they stiff you about. And it's a steep penalty. Often, they will lose the price of the seat and then some if they stuff about and cause a delay or cancel a flight, because there are laws. There are laws, there are rules, and those laws and rules are necessary to make sure the airlines do the right thing. For example, in the EU, if you are delayed by more than a certain period of time, they will have to pay you money. And so the airline goes, well, I don't want to have to pay that money. I'll just do the right thing and make sure there's redundancies in place. Compare and contrast that with Australia. Here in Australia, there are no rules or laws. The airline can just not fly the flight and then be like, soz, sucks to be you. We'll deal with it when we deal with it. And so they build that into their business model. They sell tickets that don't exist on flights they never intend to fly because they can. And while they do this, they make insane profits. That's why Qantas is so much more profitable than most airlines, because it can get away with this nonsense. And I think that I've seen some content from certain parliamentarians saying, well, we need to change that. And I think the answer is a resounding yes. It's time that airlines in Australia caught up with the rest of the world. It's unfair to the average Australian that the airline gets away with all of this garbage and continues to do so while making record profits, wringing their hands and saying, we're not doing the wrong thing. When the High Court upholds the federal court's decision that you're trying to make profits at the expense of your employees, you can't even hide behind and say, well, we're trying to do the right things by our employees. Can I just say this insidious practice of chairman lounge access for any and all parliamentarians is something that's fairly, to me at least, a bit stinky, and something that perhaps is of concern and maybe really needs to be revisited, because if you're getting all these sweet perks and you're traveling in a way that no Australian gets to enjoy except the absolute upper echelon, maybe it warps your thinking. And maybe when there's a decision to be made about an airline, you tend to go, oh, well, I don't want to lose that perk. So all in all, bring in laws, keep them accountable, and you watch within, I reckon, 2 years, these delays, these ghost flights, they vanish. And we Australians actually get to travel like human beings. Follow me for more legal TikTok.